Welcome to Sunday with Mike, show number 91. On today's show, we're going to cover where do you get your referrals from, how to create some great looking pie charts, a handy link page on your website, and how do you back yourself up. Grab some coffee and join me. I'll be right back. Welcome back. I've got my coffee and I hope you have yours. The other day I was wondering where my top referrals were coming from. Don't get me wrong, I could name the top 2 without blinking an eye, but what about the rest of them? Which brings me to this question. Can you name the top 5 sources that refer to your business? I doubt if you can. I know I failed when I tried. I don't mean that negatively, but I just couldn't think of anything past the second one. So it's time to go to the database. If you started tracking your referrals as we've suggested in a previous show, instead of guessing or believing the stuff that people blow smoke your way, you'll actually know who is and who's not sending you business. The hardest part of this whole process is not the database itself. It's making yourself ask each person you speak to, how did you hear about me? And then making the entry in the database for them. Otherwise, there's no point to doing it. You have to be consistent. Databases are incredibly helpful with running your business if you're diligent and you do the work to input the data that's important to running your business. So back to my original story. I wanted to know who my top 5 referrers were, but I could only think of the top 2. So after crunching some numbers, I had my answers. I was surprised by a few of them, and I shared the results with Terry. She was equally surprised. There was some good surprises and some bad ones. One of the bad discoveries was that almost without fail, our wedding couples have already hired a photographer before they hired us. Guess how many photographers referred my business in 2018? Just one. That's it. So obviously I have some work to do here because, as we all know, there are a ton of photographers out there. So my question to you is simple. Where are your top 5 referrals coming from? If you can't answer that question without doing some thinking like it happened to me, then you need to query your database so that you can start keeping track of your stats too. In the next segment, I'll show you what you can do with the answers that you got from your database.
DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
Today, I wanted to remind you that you don't have to be a huge company to be able to afford some great-looking graphics charts. Let's say that you wanted to create a pie chart showing how many times you do a ceremony and a reception versus just the reception alone. What about a pie chart representing who you get your referrals from? What about how many times you quote somebody versus how many times you actually book them? You can easily create these and many other types of charts and download the file for your use as a JPEG or a PNG file. From there, you can insert them into your PowerPoint presentation, your website, a presentation folder, or any other place that you use graphics. The magic behind these great-looking charts is sitting on a website called www.meta-chart.com, and I'm going to include the link in the description down below for you. You can create many different types of charts, and trust me, if you can present a polished chart to your website visitor or a potential client at a meeting, I promise you that you're going to make a very positive impression on that person. So gather up some data and play around with these charts. I think you'll be amazed at how easy and great looking they can be. I'll be right back. Welcome back. I want to sell you on an idea that many of you will not understand, you won't believe me, and you won't follow through with the concept. But if you will just trust me on this one, you will come back to thank me later. It's just a question of time. I'm sure that you have bookmarks on your smartphone. I'm sure that you have bookmarks on your laptop or desktop as well. And those bookmarks might even be synced so that if you add to one device, it shows up on all your devices. And if you do, you're going to be my toughest sell on this idea, but even you can benefit from this concept if you'll just actually try it. So what am I talking about? Well, I want you to create a private page on your website. And on that page, I want you to create a table. And we're going to say, for example, 4 columns wide by 15 rows. That should be enough to get you started. Now you should have something that looks like this. And then each cell is going to have a link to a place on the web that you go to on a regular basis. So you put the name of the link for that particular, where that URL, whatever it is, let's say the knot, and then you would make it a clickable link with their URL so that when you click that, it takes you directly to the knot. Then you move on to the next cell and you completely fill up this and add more if you need, or take away if you don't have enough. But this should be a good start. The whole point of doing this is that you can now have access to your most used links as long as you have access to the internet. You no longer need your phone or your laptop or your desktop or anything else. So you can get to your banking, stores that you order from, say PSSL, websites, etc. So just imagine this little table as your hot button link center that will take you anywhere you want to go. So this is a great place to store those links that you often share with your clients as well. Right-click on the correct cell that you want to share and copy the link location. Paste that into an email or into a text message and you're done. That's it. I know that it's hard to believe you will ever be separated from your smartphone, but it will happen sooner or later. This is one of these projects that I just need you to trust me on. This page will pay off over and over again, and you'll be glad that you took the time to do this project. In the past, we've discussed backing up your hard drives, your laptops, your speakers, etc. But how do we back you up? And what I mean by this is, let's say that something terrible happened, and for whatever reason, you're not going to be able to keep your commitment at the very last minute. What is your emergency backup plan for yourself? I was faced with this decision because on a Friday afternoon many years ago, I had a heart attack and I had to get someone to handle my Christmas party that was scheduled just to start a few hours later. I quickly called one of my buddies and he jumped right in on it and everything ended up well, including me, but it made me rethink my entire business plan and how I should handle things going forward. For example, I used to put my name in the contract like this, I, Mike Schnauder, have agreed to DJ Jane Doe's wedding reception for the sum of blank. But that won't work anymore because what happens if I can't be there? Then this contract is null and void. So my new contract is under the company's name. This way, if something does happen to me, the company can still fulfill its role and honor the contract. This is also better for our client because if the contract was with me personally and I died, they have no contract at all. So now we're back on to you. What would you do if you got in your vehicle and you started heading to the event, but then detoured and went to the hospital instead? How would you handle a last-second crisis that you had no idea was coming? Whatever you come up with, I want you to write it down and start making the necessary changes for your business, your clients, and your peace of mind, knowing that everyone is covered and that you've done everything that you can do to take care of everyone involved. That's going to be our show for today. I hope that you will share the show with some of your friends. Give me your thoughts down in the comments section down below and be sure to give us a thumbs up. We're still saving a seat for everybody in the Sunday with Mike Facebook group if you haven't already joined us, and I hope to see you there and here next week.